It's
Smurf,
obviously going
Smurf,
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 Smurf, Smurf, Smurf, Smurf, Smurf, back, Smurf, Smurf.
What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Welcome everybody to the game show that features a box. It's What's in the Box. My name is Frizzle. I'm the keeper of the box, and joining me are some very special guests from the world of comedy and celebrity as they play a bunch of rounds that I make up on the spot. It's going to be watchable, I think. Definitely watchable. This is, of course, the online panel show that British Comedy Guide are already calling an online panel show. Our first guest tonight. How are you today, Kate? Are you coping well with the lockdown?
Oh, I'm definitely not coping well. Oh God, no, not at all. But I'm okay right now. I've decided that now that my current strategy is to dress for the apocalypse I want. So
Rather than the apocalypse you have. Yes, we all know that phrase.
Sarah Connor here with my combat pants, midriff showing. I just sort of need a flamethrower about here, and yeah. But I've been to the farmers market.
With the flamethrower, I hope. It's,
yeah, basically. I said 2 meters, mother.
Organic flamethrowers. That's what we've got here with Kate. Our next guest, and hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my next guest. It's Caroline Mabey. Did you see what I did there? Hello, Caroline. How are you?
I'm good. I haven't got a flamethrower. I'm fine. I've come dressed as one of those backgrounds you get on Zoom.
I've come dressed as either a referee or someone who works at Foot Locker. So I'm hoping no one wants to buy shoes off me. It is Board Game Smackdown host, which you can watch every Tuesday and Friday at 6 p.m, I think. It is James Cook.
Hey, everybody.
Hello,
Hi.
James.
Hi.
Are you coping well with the madness?
Yes. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not. I haven't written anything in my own shit on the walls yet. I don't know if that counts as coping. But I do worry that I'm turning into a cargo cult member because I keep going on these live stream things. So I think if we keep going on the live streams, then the medicine will come.
We are going to start with round one.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Round one is called What's in the Box. It is what the game is named after, of course. I am going to ask our guests what they think I'm going to pull out of the box. They'll most likely be wrong, but then they have to debate about why their guess was the closest. It's a debating game. So we're going to start with Kate Smurthwaite. What do you think is in the box?
I think it's a cure for coronavirus.
A cure for coronavirus. Ooh, we're doing alliteration today. James Cook, you're down there. What do you think I'm going to pull out of this box?
I think you're going to. I think in that box is a nurse.
A nurse. Could be a cure for coronavirus. We'll see. We'll see if this is going to be a theme. Caroline, you're down there. What do you think I'm going to pull out of the box?
I think you're going to pull out an ice cube in the shape of a dachshund.
Oh, an ice cube in the shape of a dachshund. My favourite Ed Sheeran song. The actual thing that is in the box is it's a bag of dead batteries.
I was right. Good.
It is time for you to explain why your guess was the closest, and then I will award that person points. Only one person gets points in this round. We'll start with Kate. Why is this bag of dead batteries the cure for coronavirus?
Well, I mean, obviously we've tried all the traditional cures, haven't we? We know that normal drugs don't help. They don't really work. We know that we're going to keep searching until we find the cure. And it's at this stage, it's none of the obvious ones. So it's probably some really obscure chemical, and it'll almost certainly turn out that somebody's already mined it up and used it in batteries that they've then just whacked in the remote or their vibrators. So we'll probably have to go around and collect back or the old batteries, because it will turn out that some tiny micro element that we've been mining in a very ethically inappropriate way for centuries is actually the cure that we need.
So you believe that the cure that we already need is in the dead batteries. I like that. I like that sign.
Dead batteries at home. Just before anyone blames me, don't eat any old batteries. It won't work.
It's now time for James to explain why a nurse is akin to a bag of dead batteries.
Yes, I'll get onto that in just a second. I just want to say, Kate, there. What we know about Kate Smurthwaite is that she has invested a lot of money in the dead battery industry. So it's actually in her interest to perpetuate the myth that dead batteries cause coronavirus. They're like a nurse. Well, a dead battery is no longer charged. We know that. And nurses, of course, are no longer charged to park at the hospitals where they work. So we know that. And I grew up in a long time ago in the 80s, and it was an old wives' tale in the 80s that if ever a battery ran out and was and you couldn't use it anymore, the way to get a little bit more charge out of that battery was you put it on your doorstep, and at 8 o'clock on a Thursday you applauded it, just like we do now for nurses, and that is why I was the most correct.
Okay, some very good points there. But now it's time for Caroline. An ice cube in the shape of a dachshund. We're going into whimsical territory here. Why is a bag of dead batteries more like that than a nurse or a cure for coronavirus?
Well, it's simple, isn't it? You know, if you go to get your gin and tonic, you haven't got any gin, you put in either an ice cube in the shape of a dachshund or a bag of dead batteries. It's going to perk your drink up, isn't it? Give it a bit of extra razzmatazz.
Razzmatazz indeed. Right, we're going to move along now. I'm going to give some points. James, as much as I appreciated your very good point, you did start off with a smear campaign against one of your fellow players, and
like a nurse, smear.
a smear
campaign.
Oh, that's another point for Caroline.
Another point for Caroline.
It is, well, yes, because Caroline's won this round, because of course, who doesn't have a nice gin cocktail without a bag of dead batteries in first? I did enjoy your chemical compounds, Kate, but the points there, 3 points go to Caroline for that round.
Yes!
Nice applause going on. It's time for round 2.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Round 2 is called Antique Matter. For this game, Kate is going to produce an item from her box for James to use. James will produce an item out of his box for Caroline to use, and Caroline will produce an item out of her box for Kate to use. The game here is each of our contestants will be assigned an item from another contestant. They are then going to pretend that they are on the Antiques Roadshow, and they have to convince the host, me, that their item is the most valuable. Okay, most valuable item that they've never seen before. Going first is James, which means, Kate, what is the item from your box that you will assign to James?
Oh, okay. So this, I don't know how well you can see it, but this is a device that you put into your water when you're boiling an egg, and it helps you to tell when you've boiled it enough.
James, please explain why this item is worth the most money.
As you know, eggs no longer exist. Not since the before times when we had eggs. Can't get eggs now for love nor money, and believe me, I've tried both. So a device like this harks back to a golden era where eggs were plentiful and abundant. In fact, people had so many of them that they would boil them and eat them, assuming that there was a never-ending supply. And this device was used to help them assess the texture of said eggs. Obviously, a device like this now has not been used for several hundred years. So it sort of harks back to an earlier, more bountiful time. And that's why I believe it's worth the most money.
Next up is Caroline. Her object is going to be determined by James. James, can you please tell us what object that is going to be?
This is my bronze medal Latin American dancing certificate.
Oh, wow.
Caroline, please explain why James's certificate from 1985 for Latin American dancing is worth the most money in this weird episode of Antiques Roadshow.
Well, as we know, after the end of Corona times, James Cook became a Latin dancing sensation around what remained of the globe. And this was before all that. Obviously, everything that happened after Corona was well documented on online, but this is 1985. This is pre-Snapchat. This is real paper with, I think, some embossing on it, maybe some gold leaf. It's got ink. It's got ink on it. And this is, I mean, who can remember when James Cook, dancing, twirling miracle on legs and wheels that he became, who wouldn't want a piece of his childhood?
I really enjoyed that. Next up is Kate Smurthwaite. Her item will be decided by Caroline. Maybe Caroline, what is your item you are giving to Kate?
Well, it's a matchbox, triangular. Well, do you see it's triangular on this end? It's got a couple of little Santas there. Don't know why there's two. And matches.
Okay, fantastic. Kate Smurthwaite, please explain why this creepy Santa box is the most valuable object.
Well, of course, once upon a time, when we were talking about entertaining children, we applied all these sort of what now seem very arcane principles. We tried to do, educational things. We tried to stick to health and safety standards. But of course, we've reached a point in lockdown now where people will do literally anything to stop those little brats from annoying them for just 20 minutes so they can have a glass of wine because they haven't left the house for 3 weeks, and little Jessica and little Samuel are now tearing the curtains up and ripping the paper off the walls. And there was a time back in the olden days, in the before times, and we used to say to children, don't play with matches. But now those times have gone and we've moved on. And a lot of people have been using the old "it's just like Christmas" trick to try and get their children to behave more sensibly around the lockdown period. And this is an amazing opportunity that very few will get the chance to be involved with, to not only hand them the "hey, it's Christmas" trick, but also to potentially convince them to set fire to themselves and each other, which may well be the only way for many parents to successfully survive lockdown.
Okay, I like that a lot. I have written down some notes. James, I did appreciate you describing the egg timer as how eggs don't exist anymore. It was a tragic reminder and it made me a little sad, but that could be worth points. Caroline, I did like your whimsy. That was exceptional, and I do believe that would be worth something, just any sort of merit, any sort of award. People say that we just hand awards out anymore, so maybe awards will become a commodity. But Kate, I loved your capitalization on the fact that people are saying it's just like Christmas because, we're trapped indoors with our fucking families. So I'm giving 3 to Kate, 2 to James, 1 to Caroline there. That is final. 1 to Caroline. Fantastic. That's the end of round 2.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Round 3 is called the music round, and it's called the music round because I have a vast CD collection of very obscure compilation albums, and compilation albums have music, and compilation albums are round. Today's album, which I'm going to be asking you questions on, is a classic. It is The Smurfs Go Pop.
Great.
You'd think I'm good at this, being called Smurthwaite. You'd think that I'd have some natural advantage. But in fact, I just have a huge disadvantage because it's a music round and it's not female-voiced reggae singers, which is all I listen to.
What is the weight of a Smurf?
2.
The game here is I'm going to tell you the titles of some of these tracks. And it's up to you to say whether it's a parody of a pop song from 1996 or the Smurfs' own original composition. So that is the game here. I will tell you there is only 4 original songs here. The rest of them are parodies of pop hits from the 90s, and there's 15 tracks altogether. So we're going to start with Caroline at this round. Caroline, a number between 1 and 15.
7.
7. The track title is Our Smurfing Party. Now, is that a parody of a pop song of the 90s?
It's an original.
It's an original.
That's highly original.
It's not, I'm afraid. It is a parody of a pop song. And for a bonus point, can you tell me, and this is up for anyone, can you tell me what the original song was? I'll give you the title again. Our Smurfing Party.
Our banging party?
Not Our Banging Party. I don't think that was ever a song.
No, nor do I. I'm trying to think of what it might be.
James, your guess.
Is it like S Club Party or something like that?
Oh, they were in the 2000s. Sadly, the original track title was, and you got to kick yourselves, Saturday Night.
Of course.
Yep. It's
Right.
easy when you think about it.
What was the original?
It was called Saturday Night by Gina G. Saturday night, and I like the way you move.
That's Wakefield.
That's
not Gina G.
Wakefield.
Wakefield. Sorry. If that makes any sense, I'm docking myself 2 points.
Good.
Smurthwaite.
Yes.
Name a number between 1 and 15.
I'm going to try and game this, and I reckon the most recognisable track will be track number 1.
Track number 1. It's not. The title is Smurfs Are Back. Is that a parody or an original?
It's a parody.
It is a parody. That's 1 point. But what's it a parody of? And remember how we got from Our Smurfing Party to Saturday Night? Just say anything with the word Smurf in it.
It's a parody of I Want You Back.
It was actually No Limit by Two Unlimited, obviously.
Oh, well, I'll give you some cat acting for that.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Cat.
What was the name of the Smurf song? Oh, hi.
Smurfs Are Back. It's obviously going to
Smurf,
I've lost control of the stream, everyone. I've lost control of the stream.
Techno.
I won't techno for an answer. Cook, please name a number between 1 and 15.
14, please, Friz.
14. The song is Football Forever. Is that an original composition by the Smurfs or a parody of a 90s song?
I say parody.
It's not. It's an original composition, I'm afraid.
This whole thing's bullshit.
It really is. I love the fact I found that. Caroline, maybe your chance for some points. Name a number between 1 and 15.
Oh no, do we have to do it again?
We're
12.
doing it 3 times. 12. 12. The track title is Smurfing Ways. Smurfing Ways.
It's a parody.
It's not. It's an original composition. We're blazing through these. Kate Smurthwaite, name a number between 1 and 15.
Same principle, 15.
15. The track is called Smurfing World. That's Smurfing World. Is that a parody or an original composition?
It's a parody.
It's not. It's an original composition.
What?
There's only 4 of these, and you've already chosen 3. James Cook, number between 1 and 15.
3.
3. The track title is I've Got a Little Puppy. Is that an original composition or a parody?
I think it's a parody of things that a creepy man in a van says to you.
It is a parody, but
right.
what is the original track? So you get 1 point for identifying it was a parody. What's the original song?
They've all been quite different, haven't they, from the titles you've given us? So I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say, is it "O Canada," the national anthem of Canada?
It's not. It's I Want to Be a Hippie. I've got a little puppy.
I also think that song charted by the Smurfs. I've got a little puppy.
It did.
Yeah.
That was the track that they released from this. One more go around the circle. Caroline, number between 1 and 15.
14.
14.
We've had that.
We've not.
Two.
Yes, we have. 2.
2.
Okay. Caroline.
Parody.
I haven't even said the title. The title is Mr. Smurftastic. Is that a parody?
Yes. I think it's a parody.
What's it a parody of for 2 points?
What's the...
I'm delighted that you can't remember.
Mr. Fantastic.
It's not Mr. Fantastic.
Sextastic. Mr.
Me-
Bombtastic.
Kate
First,
knows.
Can't
Kate,
remember.
go on.
We both, James and I both know that, or hope, I think, that it's going to be Mr. Boombastic.
Boombastic.
It's actually Creep by Radiohead. No, it is Mr. Boombastic. You are correct. Kate, a number between 1 and 15.
4.
4. The track title is The Noisy Smurf. Is that an original or a parody?
It's a parody.
It is a parody for 1 point. For 2 bonus points, can you name me the original song?
You lot think you know, I don't think I know.
Okay, James, what do you think for 2 points?
Is it Too Drunk to Fuck by the Dead Kennedys?
It is not. Caroline, what do you
Damn
think
it.
The Noisy Smurf is a parody of?
Is it Teenage Dirtbag?
It's not. Oh, it was It's So Quiet by Bjork.
Oh.
Was
Of course
it
it
really?
It was a parody. I mean, I will happily send this to the winner of What's in the Box today. Right, our final song is James Cook. Name a number between 1 and 15.
9, please, Friz.
9. The track title is Smurf Hillbilly Joe.
Oh, is it Cotton Eye Joe by the Rednecks?
It is, for 3 points correctly identified as parody and Cotton Eye Joe by the Rednecks. That is the end of round
Well
3.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Round 4 is called Choose Your Weapon. Here, our guests will pick an item out of their box before I tell them what they have to use it for. Right? Here, we're going to use it in a environment, a situation where they have to fight and stop someone using the object in their box. So, people, can you please take out any item from your box? The enemy that you are going to be fighting today using your items are the dire wolves. So that's what Kate is going to be fighting. You'll all have different ones. So, Kate, please tell us, what is the item in your box?
It is a 7-inch single of a track called Nelson Mandela, Break Down the Door, produced by Elvis Costello. I have never
Amazing.
Hello.
And how are you going to fight the dire wolves, or just angry wolves, I guess, using that record?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to highlight how progress marches on. You know, Nelson Mandela is an absolute symbol of the way that attitudes change and society has taken a bolder and a brighter and a more positive turn. And I'm going to use that and that you know, the legend of Nelson Mandela and the amazing and inspiring story of his life to explain to people that the world has moved on and we no longer believe in nonsense like dire wolves. Spoof. This is the 21st century. We've got real things to fight, like racism and false imprisonment. We shouldn't waste our time worrying about made-up monsters that don't really exist. Thanks very much.
Okay, I like that you're not using it as a physical weapon. You are using it to play, to show the differences.
You know.
No, that's very, very good.
I get to the supermarket and there's only one box of eggs left, in which case, well.
Right, I'm going to give you 3 points for that, but you might get bonus ones in a bit when I see them all. But that's 3 solid points right there. James, the thing that you are going to be fighting, and it's a comment from the actual John Arbuckle from the Garfield comment.
Hey!
You're fighting Major Mucus. What is the item in the box that you will use?
Is Jesus.
Well, you've won already, but please explain how you're going to use Jesus' action figure to fight Major Mucus.
Major Mucus, as you all know, is one of the most unpopular villains in WWE wrestling. And consequently, he has an action figure commercially available, Major Mucus action figure. And in the battle of action figures, I've got the ultimate one here, which is Jesus Christ. It is, after all, Easter Sunday when this is going to go out. So, you know, he's back up. He's been inside for a couple of days. He's raring to go. He's got this fantastic sort of karate chop action.
Oh, wow.
There, which was very overlooked in the Bible there. And he also, you can't see, I'll do it along my arm, he glides. as well. So he will glide up to Major Mucus. He will karate chop him. Also, a karate chop on the back is a very good way of breaking up mucus in someone who has it and helps them breathe more easily there. So double action Jesus there, which was my nickname in prison, by the way.
I really like that. I did like that, and topical as well with it being Easter Sunday. I'm giving you 4 points for that. 4 points for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Caroline, the enemy that you are fighting is, of course, it is Tinky Winky.
Tinky Winky.
Tinky Winky, what is the item in your box that you are using to defeat Tinky Winky?
I've got a signed photo of Harrison Ford in a frame that doesn't fit it.
Please explain how that will help us against the scum that is Tinky Winky.
And is he the sexual pervert one?
Yes.
Tinky Winky. Oh yes. Oh, we need to talk later. We've both been had run-ins. Right. So, what I'm going to do is he's like all what are they called? Teletubbies. They're afraid of the sun because they've been terrorized by the baby's sun face looking down at them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out Harrison Ford and just use the glass frame, get it at the right angle, blind him, burn the Tinky Winky, burn him, and he will no longer be a sex pest.
Caroline, I'm going to give you 2 points for that, mainly because I'm shocked that you don't know who the Teletubbies are.
I just didn't remember the word.
Okay, but still I don't...
The real story of Tinky Winky. The guy who played Tinky Winky is a comedian. You might have worked with him, called Dave Thompson. And so he was hired to play Tinky Winky, a giant purple Teletubby with a handbag. And then after several years of doing this job, he was fired for being too camp. This is completely true. Once he'd left and they'd hired someone else to be Tinky Winky, he had a call from like the BBC and they said, we think that the tabloids might be sniffing around for a story about you. We recommend that if you've got any ex-girlfriends who, like get in touch and make sure that nobody would sort of like, but he didn't do that. He went to see Clifford back in the days when you could still do that. And he then went to the tabloids with the help of Max Clifford and offered to sell them a story about behind the scenes at the Teletubbies. And he said he was prepared to like say that he'd been badly behaved, but not to grass anybody else up or get anyone else in trouble. So they agreed that he'd taken drugs, by which he admitted that he'd had a spliff at some point during the production, which not even necessarily true. It was just like, I'm happy to say that to the papers, and that he'd taken a girlfriend back to the production office, something like this. And he got some money for it. And I think it was, I don't know if it was the Sun or the News of the World, they went with the headline, Kinky Tinky Winky.
Of course.
Based on Kate's story there, I have invented a new bonus round.
Okay.
We just heard a story where the actor who played Tinky Winky was in a tabloid headline scandal, and the headline was Kinky Tinky Winky. That was the headline. Now, I would like you, starting with Caroline, to give me a headline for if Lala, Dipsy, or Poe were caught in a celebrity scandal tabloid gate thing. Caroline, if Dipsy was caught, what would the headline be?
Tipsy Dipsy gets titsy in the Ritzy.
Sure. That's you found 3 rhymes for Dipsy there, so that's 3 points. James Cook, what if Poe was caught in a scandalous tabloid headline?
It would be just 2 words and an exclamation point, and the 2 words would be Poe job.
Poe job. We're getting kinky, but I'm giving you 1 point for that. And Kate, finally, Lala is caught in a tabloid scandal. What is the headline?
I want to go no Oscar for Lala Band.
Lala Band was the exact one that I was thinking of. So that is a further.
Is that one Lala Hand? I just felt it might get too graphic. So
we've already had a Poe job. I think a Lala Hand job would be. Anyway, I think it's time to call the end of round 4.
What's in the box? What in the box?
It's time for round 5, everyone. And this is called the quick fire round. The reason why it's called the quick fire round is I get our celebrity and comedian friends to list a bunch of items from their specialist subject as quickly as they can to the tune of We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. At the moment, in the lead is James Cook. That means he goes first.
Ooh, that's
James,
come out of nowhere.
what is your specialist subject?
Well, it's board games, isn't it? Obviously.
So James Cook is going to list as many board games as he can to the tune of We Didn't Start the Fire. James, if you laugh or pause for a too long amount of time, that will be the end of your go. So are you ready, James?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
4, 3, 2, 1.
Monopoly, Cluedo, Scrabble and Ludo, Snakes and Ladders, Dominion, Architects of the West Kingdom, Istanbul, Newsford, Five Tribes, Laws of Vegas. I am reading them off the back. It's cheating, isn't it?
Oh, no, what? Oh, I'm so sorry. Hang on a second. Did you just admit cheating?
Yeah, I shouldn't win. They're behind me. I can see them on the screen.
Oh, I see. Okay, right.
I was just reading those out.
You were just reading them out aloud. Yeah, I should have thought of that. Which is, if Kate's topic is stuff on her shelf, then yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Caroline's could be 50 Shades of Grey.
The problem is, James, we don't mind cheating in this game show.
Oh,
but if you get caught cheating, then it's immediate disqualification.
Yeah, what if I catch myself cheating?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but that's
I
no
think
point,
you should let him
James.
have it. He didn't do very many.
He did say 11, so I can add 11 to the score. Is everyone happy with that? I am giving you the 11 points. So well done, James Cook. That's 11. So you've got your final score. Next up, in second place at the moment, is Kate Smurthwaite. Kate, what is your specialist subject?
I want to do books of the Bible.
Books of the Bible. So I will count you in. This is Kate Smurthwaite naming as many books of the Bible as she can. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Songs, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, Jude, Revelation.
Is that all of them?
Yeah, I think that should be 66.
Okay, right, fair enough. That's 66. 66 bonus points.
I don't want to time at Sunday school. What can I say?
Oh my gosh. Here is Caroline Mabey singing as many musical instruments as she can to the tune of We Didn't Start the Fire.
Guitar, ukulele, cello, violin, clarinet, something else with a that you go into. Oboe, viola.
We run a very tight ship here on What's in the Box. We do not allow something else as an acceptable answer.
Unless your category was like excuses you might make if you can't think of anything to say.
Or if your categories were words. But we haven't had that yet. We have the final scores. That is the end of the show. It is time to reveal who has won What's in the Box. In third place with 16 points, it is Caroline Mabey.
Yay!
Caroline, do you have anything to plug right now during these pandemic content times?
Yes. I've been making films with the Lost Comics collective. Check out the Lost Comics on YouTube. Lots and lots of funny films. Yay! They do a clip show every Tuesday at 8 p.m. with Phil Nicol and Kerry Marks.
Beautiful. Links will be in the YouTube description below for all of the comedians' plugs. In second place with 25 points, it is James Cook. Woo!
Thank you very much.
Have you anything to plug, James?
Yes, I do a live streamed panel show every Tuesday and Friday at 6 p.m. called Board Game Smackdown, where comedians play board games over the internet, and it's a lot of fun. There are already 5 episodes on the YouTube channel. If you search for Board Game Smackdown on YouTube, you'll find them, or go to boardgamesmackdown.com. Thank you.
That's James Cook, everyone. Episode 2 of Board Game Smackdown is very good. And the winner
Yay!
with a What's in the Box record of 78, it is Kate
Amazing.
Smurthwaite.
Woo!
Kate, what have you got to plug in these trying times?
So there's two things that people can do to support me. The first is that my show from last year, Clitstirrer, is available on Gumroad for download or streaming. It's a £5 plus relevant local sales tax. I also have a video series called News at Kate, where I make a video each week about what's going on in news and politics. And you can see them on YouTube or on Patreon. People sponsor me, but you don't have to sponsor me to see them. But if you can, we love it and we appreciate it.
That was Kate Smurthwaite, everyone. If you fancy supporting this silly little show, What's in the Box, there are a number of ways you can do it. If you follow us on Twitter, we are at What's in the Books. That's What's in the Box with no vowels. That's not me trying to mimic a South African, as someone has already accused me of doing. Or if you want to show a donation, paypal.me/FrizzFrizzle. We're also on Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/FrizzFrizzle. You get to see the uncut versions of this show, because you'll be obviously watching the edit. We do these live streams every so often at 4 p.m, and then it's available on YouTube 9 a.m. But those are the places to support us and make sure that we carry on. One more time, our guests today were Kate Smurthwaite, James Cook, and Caroline Mabey. Woo! Caroline gets a bonus point for that. Still loses.
79.
Now, everyone, please wave at the screen for 23 seconds as the closing credits play. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
What's in the box?